Every single day you wake up with the intention of doing something that matters. And by the time your head hits the pillow again, that thing is still undone. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't care, but because something invisible is pulling you away from the life you actually want to live. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what that invisible force is, why it has so much power over you, and how to finally break free from it. But first, there's something about procrastination that almost nobody talks about. Something that will completely change the way you see yourself and your habits. The word procrastination sounds like a productivity problem, like a scheduling issue, like something that a better planner or a stricter morning routine could fix. But the truth is, procrastination has almost nothing to do with time management. Science has confirmed it again and again. Procrastination is an emotion regulation problem. You're not avoiding the task, you're avoiding the feeling the task produces in you. So think about that for a moment. When you delay writing that report, making that call, starting that project, what you're really doing is running away from discomfort, from fear of failure, from the terror of not being good enough, from the anxiety that comes with uncertainty. The task itself isn't the enemy. The emotion it triggers is. And here's what makes this so dangerous. The more important the task is to you, the stronger that emotion becomes and the harder it is to begin. This is a trap that no productivity app will ever solve for you. Psychologists call it emotional avoidance, and it operates like a quiet thief in the background of your mind. Every time you put something off, your brain registers a tiny moment of relief. Stress drops, anxiety fades, and your nervous system learns one thing very clearly: avoidance works. That relief is real, it's immediate, and it is the exact reason why procrastination is so hard to stop. Because your brain is not broken, it is doing precisely what it was designed to do: protect you from pain. But here's what your brain doesn't calculate in that moment of relief: the price you pay later. The guilt that builds, the shame that accumulates, the quiet erosion of self-trust that happens every time you promise yourself you'll do something and then don't. Over months and years, procrastination doesn't just filter your productivity. It steals your confidence. It whispers to you that maybe you just don't have what it takes. And the cruelest part, the longer you wait, the louder the whispers becomes. Now you might be wondering, if procrastination is emotional, if it's wired so deeply into how the brain works, is there actually a way out? The answer is yes. But it requires you to understand something first that most people get completely wrong. The biggest lie about procrastination is that the solution is motivation. People wait to feel motivated before they start. They believe that at some point inspiration will arrive like a wave and carry them forward. But motivation doesn't come before action, it comes after. The science is clear on this. Action generates motivation, not the other way around. The feeling you're waiting for will never come if you keep waiting for it. What actually works is far simpler and far more counterintuitive than anything you've been told before. Instead of trying to conquer the task, you shrink it. Instead of fighting the emotion, you name it. Neuroscience shows that simply labeling your fear, saying to yourself, I feel anxious about this, reduces its anxiety intensity by activating the prefrontal cortex and calming the amygdala. You're not suppressing the emotion, you're processing it. And once it's processed, even slightly, the resistance softens. The path forward opens just enough for you to take one step. One step is all you need, not the whole journey, just one step. There's a principle that high performers across every field shared: athletes, executives, artists, scientists, and it is this. They do not rely on willpower, they rely on systems that make starting easier than not starting. They design their environment, they reduce the gap between intention and action to almost nothing. They understand that the human brain is profoundly influenced by friction. The amount of effort required to begin, remove the friction, and you remove the procrastination. But when with the right system, even with the right mindset, there's one final obstacle that trips almost everyone. And it's the one nobody warns you about. It's perfectionism. Not the perfectionism that pushes, that pushes you to do your best, but the paralysis that comes from believing that if you can't do it perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all. Perfectionism and procrastination are not opposites, they are partners. They feed each other, and together they keep you in a permanent state of preparation, always about to begin, never actually starting. The cure of perfectionism is not lowering your standards. It's redefining what done means. A finished thing, however imperfect, teaches you more than a perfect plan that was never executed. Progress is not linear. Growth is not clean. The people who move forward are not the ones who got it right on the first try. They are the ones who refuse to let the fear of getting it wrong keep them from trying at all. And this brings us back to where we started, to that invisible force that pulls you away from the life you want to live. Now you what it is. Now you know what it is. It's not weakness. It's not laziness. It's not a character flaw. It is your brain doing its job, protecting you from discomfort. And it will keep doing that job unless you consciously, deliberately decide to lead it somewhere different. The most important task in your life will always feel uncomfortable before they feel rewarding. That discomfort is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It is a sign that you are on the right one. Every time you feel that resistance, that urge to delay, to scroll, to do something easier instead, that is the exact moment your future is being decided. Not by what you do next week, not by what you plan to do when conditions are perfect, but by what you choose to do right now, in the next 5 minutes, with that one thing you've been putting off. That is where your life changes, not someday, now.